You just launched your Meta Ads campaign, and day one, the results look terrible. Your cost per lead is through the roof, leads are barely coming in, and you're thinking, is this even working? But before you touch anything or deem Meta Ads as a waste of time, watch this. In this video, we're going to be covering what the learning phase is, why it exists, how long it lasts, and what you should and shouldn't be doing during this phase. Then at the end of the video, I'm going to bring everything I covered come to life by showing you a real life example of one of my clients that started at the beginning of May and where they are now. So the main question we're going to start with is, what is the learning phase? And in simple terms, the learning phase is the time between when you start the ad and when the ad is consistently bringing in the conversions you're looking for. During this time period, Meta is taking your ads and pushing it out amongst your audience that you have selected. And within this audience, some people will convert and some people won't, but both of these pieces of information are crucial for the algorithm. Meta then essentially documents everyone who does convert and pushes your ads more towards them, and everyone who doesn't convert and pushes your ads away from people who behave just like that. And once Meta finds the audience that converts consistently, you leave the learning phase. But obviously there's a lot more that goes into that, so let's go right into all those details now. And one of those details is what actually starts the learning phase itself. So there's multiple different things that actually start your learning phase, one of them being launching a brand new ad set or campaign, duplicating an ad set, adding a new ad to an ad set, or making any significant change like budget, targeting, copy, or creative. Anytime you do something new within Meta, they go through the learning phase. This is because any small tweak might increase the amount of people who are interested or decrease the amount of people who are interested. Therefore, every tweak calls for a whole new test to make sure your ads are performing at the top potential that it can. And during the start of the learning phase, this is the worst time to make any heavy changes. I always say the first 3 days, leave your ads alone. The first 3 days to a week is the prime time that Meta is doing the majority of their testing, so any small tweak messes up the whole entire learning phase. So if your ads aren't performing day 1, 2, or 3, don't touch the ads and just let them run. The best way to think about the learning phase is like an employee on the first few weeks of a new job. They're just learning who to talk to, what works, and what doesn't. And you wouldn't fire this employee just because they're not working at the top level after week 1. Another main purpose of the learning phase is to find your ideal customer persona. Start a new campaign or launch a new ad set, your audience is broad, regardless of how many interests or behaviors you put in it. This is because everyone within the parameters of that audience you set is not going to be someone who converts. This is especially true when you do broad targeting, which is an audience strategy that most people use and often performs a lot better than interest or behavior. But regardless, when you launch a campaign, there's a pool of people who include your ICP, your target audience, and then everyone else. Or in other terms, people who 100% will convert, people who have the potential to convert, and then people who most likely won't convert at all. And when you launch a campaign, Meta's presenting your ads to all these different spots until it eventually finds it, gets closer, and then it's exactly where you want it to be. And every single one of these dots are not represented by just people who convert into leads. Every interaction, click, conversion, or even scroll are all data points Meta uses to refine who it shows your ads to next. So the people who see it and scroll fast, it's going to stay away from them. People who click it, it's going to show it more often to them. People convert, that's your main audience, it's going to show it more often to them, and so on and so forth. This phase is Meta testing different people within the audience to see who converts the best, with the goal of finding the right person at the right time. How long does the learning phase take? So there's 3 different ways to answer this question. 1 is 50 optimization events, 2, 7 days minimum, or 3, 14 to 21. And we're going to dive into each one of these and why. So for the first one, Meta themselves say 50 optimization events is the target to exiting the learning phase comfortably. Optimization events are the target conversion that you're looking for. So if you're a lead generation campaign, you're looking for leads. If you're doing purchases, you're looking for purchases, so on and so forth. So in a nutshell, this is saying once you get 50 leads, that ad is taken out of the learning phase. But this isn't set in stone fact and more used as a target. Meta's algorithm cares more about signal quality than it does volume. This means if your ads are performing consistently on a week-by-week basis, it can leave the learning phase without hitting that 50 event threshold. And that brings me to the second one, which is 7 days minimum. 7 days is going to be your minimum threshold because again, those are the primary learning days. Meaning once that primary phase is over, which is 7 days, your ads can start performing consistently and then you can move out of the learning phase. And the third option is 14 to 21 days for people running a low budget. Just as 7 days is the average primary learning phase, if you're running a lower budget, it's going to take a longer time. Meaning if you're running anywhere from, let's say, $50 to $150 a day, it might take 7 days, but if you're running $30, 20, 15, it's going to look a little bit more like 14 to 21 days. And to be clear, this 7 to 21 day period is not outlining the learning phase. It's outlining the primary learning phase. That means those of you running lower budget, 14 to 21 days is the primary learning phase, meaning you don't want to make any heavy adjustments then. But after that means you can make some adjustments, but it does not mean you're out of the learning phase itself. And going deeper into that, budget plays a huge role in how fast your ads leave the learning phase. $100 a day, let's say, gets you around 10,000 impressions a day. And with that same math, $10 a day is only going to get you 1,000. And I doubt I even need to explain this, but you have a lot higher of a chance that your ICP is found in this pool than you do in this pool. Meaning it's going to take a lot longer for this pool to leave the learning phase than it will for this one. And like I just said, the lower your budget, the longer the learning phase, but a long learning phase could take you into something called learning limited. Learning limited is something that Meta uses to tag your ads that they think won't leave the learning phase the way you're currently running them. Before I move any further, I want to say learning limited does not kill your ad delivery. Meaning if your ads say learning limited and you sit in learning limited, it's not going to have any effect on how the ads are being delivered. Sitting in learning limited is horrible because your ads are never going to perform at the way you want them to perform. But moving forward, the ways you get into learning limited is too many ads within an ad set or too many ad sets splitting up a budget. The other budget related reason is your budget just being too low. Like I outlined before, $10 a day might get you 1,000 impressions, and these are just made up numbers. But that is not enough for Meta to truly learn with your ads. And then the last one is your audience being too narrow. If your audience pool is too small, there's not enough people to run a true test, meaning your learning phase will stay in learning limited. Now I want to dive into the sections of what to do and what not to do when in the learning phase. First, starting with what to do. During the learning phase, especially the primary learning phase, do not touch. Consistently check your metrics daily, but you want to be pretty hands-off during that primary learning phase. Anything after that 7-day period, you can make a little bit more heavier adjustments. This one's specifically for marketing agencies, but set your client expectations. Explain to the business owner that the first few weeks the ads are running, it's going to be pretty up and down. Many people have the misconception that ads are transactional, as if you put $50 a day and you're guaranteed to get X amount back. Meaning you put $50 a day and you're guaranteed to get X amount back. But what they don't realize is that there's so many factors that go into it, and it's heavily influenced by buyers' behavior. Meaning if the buyer doesn't like the ad you're presenting, you're not going to get any leads. But that's exactly why there's creative tests, audience tests, and a million different tests out there. But in order to do that, you need time. So this second bullet point is very important for agency owners to explain to the business owner, but also for business owners to understand themselves. The third point is plan your optimization strategy and your market research. Like I said before, during the first week the ads are running, you don't want to be super hands-on. But what this gives you is a lot of time to do market research and plan your optimization strategy. So don't use this time as some vacation, but instead plan ahead. And for the fourth point, make changes to your landing page and your lead form based off the metrics you've been watching the entire time. If you can optimize your landing page and improve your lead form, more people are more likely to convert, meaning your learning phase will be shorter. Do not consistently pause or restart the ads because pausing too early or restarting too early restarts the whole entire learning phase. Don't make any aggressive budget changes because again, it'll restart your learning phase. For the second bullet point, once you're outside of that primary learning phase period, you can make slight adjustments consistently to your budget, but you don't want to be too heavy and too aggressive. But during the primary phase, you do not want to touch the budget at all. And for bullet 3 and 4, you don't want to make any impactful creative, copy, or targeting changes. And for the last bullet point, I said it a million times during this video, and I'll say it a million more. Do not judge performance based off day 1, 2, or really 3 of your data. The primary learning phase is not a representation of what your ads will look like in the future. So if your cost per lead is high within the first week, 2 weeks, or even 3 weeks, that's normal. As long as you're paying attention to the data, you can make the necessary changes and adjustments to ensure that your ads will perform. As long as you're paying attention to the data, and metrics, you'll be able to make adjustments and changes to ensure that your ads perform how you want them to perform. But if you do not give your ads time to even get the data in the first place, you can't expect your ads to perform how you want them to. Now I want to show you live examples for a roofing client that we're working with currently of what they look like at the beginning versus what they look like now. This client started running ads May 1st, and as you can see, within the first 3 days, they got one lead at $230 cost per lead. Most business owners and agency owners would see this and freak out, but if you know how the learning phase works, this is nothing. From there, the first full week only generated 4 leads at $126 cost per lead. Week 2 performed at 3 leads at $140 cost per lead. And this is the coverage of the first 2 weeks of ads being ran. $900 spent, 7 leads at $132 cost per lead. A lot of business owners see this and instantly lose trust in the ads. But if you look at it from another angle, there have been 32,000 impressions, meaning there's a lot of data to be analyzed. And with this data analysis, you can now make necessary changes to improve the performance of these ads. And with that being said, these are the results from week 3. 8 leads, $56 cost per lead, $400 spent. Then week 4 was 9 leads, $50 cost per lead, $450 spent. Then moving towards the first week in June, 11 leads generated at $47 cost per lead. Then finally, this past week was 12 leads generated, $40 cost per lead. This just goes to show what the power of patience and data analytics can do for your business, but also how it can ramp you out of the learning phase quicker. And now within the first 2 weeks of June alone, we generated this client 23 leads at $43 cost per lead, and they're a roofing client. And for those of you who, rightfully so, are worried about quality control, out of these 50 leads, 21 of them turned into estimate sent booked appointments. This allowed the business to close well over 6 figures with $3,000 worth of ad spend. If that doesn't show you the power of ads, I don't know what will. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe button, and the post notification bell to be notified every single time that I post. And I appreciate you guys watching. Now go make that money because the money isn't going to make itself.